Hello and welcome to the Arkansas Weather Blog. We are your ticket to big weather events, recording this late Wednesday, December the 28th, straight up 6 o'clock. I want to give you an update on what you have probably been reading about on social media and what you've been hearing on the air, and to give you an update. Now, remember, the information that I'm going to present to you, you always have to remember, these are just computer models. And when I show you the specifics with these computer models in the long range, know that you cannot get a specific forecast in the long range. It is impossible. We can get a good general idea that there's a storm that may be approaching, or that it's going to be colder than average. But as far as specific details, it's impossible. But this is what the blog does. This is what I do. I share with you that information, and I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible, give you an update about what I think is going to be a fairly chilly air mass which comes in. Now, the questions I have: how strong and how long? What I mean by that is, how strong is this air mass going to be, this Arctic air mass, and how long will it last? That's the questions I have. I really feel confident that it will arrive by the middle of next week, but let me go with you. We're going to go with the maps, mostly from weatherbell.com. Fantastic website. It's subscription based, but I'm going to share with you some of the maps here from the GFS Ensemble Mean. This is the average 2-meter temperature in anomalies. Remember, these are anomalies, departure from averages in degrees Celsius, and I'm just going to show you 5-day averages. First thing I want you to notice that the departure from averages it's positive in Alaska. So they're going above average. You can see the colder air in Western Canada and the Northern Rockies, and then above average here across the plains over towards the East Coast. This is the 29th through the 3rd. So when you take all 5 of those days and average them out, you would come up with this. So that doesn't mean that every day is above average or that every day is cold, but we're looking at an average over the course of 5 days. Now let's look at the next the next 5 days. This is the 5 to 10 day. So in other words, January 2nd through January 7th, the average 2-meter temperature anomalies, those 5 days put together. And this is Barney Purple. When you see Barney Purple, you see the scale here. You're looking at 15 to 20 degrees below average, these anomalies, in degrees Celsius. So the cold air is pouring towards the south in that time period. Let's look at the next 15 days. I keep saying that. The next 5 days out to day 15. So this is 10 to 15 days away. And in that time period, cold is overwhelming much of the country. How cold, though? It's showing here. Now, other models show up much stronger than this. 3 to 4 degrees below average degrees Celsius anomalies here across much of the central United States. So there's a good sense the cold is coming. And let me see if I got, here we go. I think I showed this to you on the previous post. Now we're looking at 500 millibars, geopotential heights. You see troughing in Alaska. This is the initialization at noon today. You see troughing in Alaska, but you see on the edge of your screen here some ridging poking in. So you're getting a flow off the Pacific. If you're a cold weather lover, you want to see the ridging going up here into Alaska. And lo and behold, look what happened. See all those reds up there? So you're seeing ridging take place in Alaska. Day 8, I mean, this is when it's going full force here. Let's just go day 9 to 10. So you have ridging up here and a strong trough, and this is the cold air that's encompassing the country at this point. This is the end of next week. All right? So that's the GFS ensembles. We can all agree, okay, if you want snow, you want wintry weather, you got to have 2 ingredients. I'm going to be Captain Obvious here. You want cold and you want moisture. Well, we got the cold. And getting these to come together in Arkansas, it's a lot easier said than done. So now let's go to the operational European computer model, and you're going to see a bunch of squiggly lines. The first thing I want to talk about is Monday. This is 18Z Monday, which is noon. You see the surface low in eastern Kansas and a frontal boundary extending south of that. You see these black close lines are isobars, lines of equal barometric pressure. So there's low pressure right there, 1,004 millibars, and there's the center of high pressure. Notice these blue lines, they're blue dash lines, and then these red dash lines. Well, the solid blue line is the 540 thickness. That's where we look for the rain-snow transition in that general area. And so you see how it bends towards the south behind that surface low, so you have the cold air coming in behind it. Notice how it bends to the north in front of the surface low as you have warm air advection in front of it. Put it as simple as I can. All the blobs you see the green is showing precipitation over the previous 6 hours. So as this comes in, you think, well, I think we're gonna have a surge of mild air out ahead of this on Monday. So how mild? Again, you're talking long range still. Then you're thinking, okay, if you're gonna go from super mild to super cold, that transition in Arkansas and this part of the country can come at a price in the form of thunderstorms. That's possible. However, there are limiting factors. How much instability? Do we have cloud cover? I've also noticed the computer models are showing quite a bit of thunderstorm development along the Gulf Coast. If that happens, that will prevent a lot of the instability and moisture from going towards the north. So there's so many factors involved in saying, well, we have big thunderstorms with this. I can't tell you for sure. Right now, I don't think that that's going to be a strong likelihood at this point, but that can always change. But this is Monday afternoon, and it's showing some showers and maybe some thunderstorms. And there's the surface low. It rockets up here to the lakes. Cold front comes in. 1044 high coming out of Canada. So remember that cold air gets dislodged out of Canada, comes towards the south with that ridge. So you poke that ridge up there that I showed you, and all that cold air comes right down the plains. And here it comes. You see these black lines, lines of equal barometric pressure, very tight pressure gradient when you go from low pressure to high pressure. So winds are coming strong out of the north. And the European, there it is, coming down the east side of the Rockies. Very typical Arctic air spilling down the plains. This is classic. This is something that we've seen a gazillion times. And that cold air starts coming in by the middle of the week. This is a Wednesday at midnight. And I mean, it builds itself and establishes. See that rain snow line that I talked about, the 540 line? No, there's no moisture at this point. There's none at all. This is midweek. Now, this is where things get interesting. There's some energy which starts to come out of the southwestern United States. You have cold, especially low-level Arctic air in place, and this is indicating, this is way out in the future, everybody. This is where I'm talking about. You can't look at this and say, this is what's going to happen. Impossible. But what I can show you is there is a system coming in that would bring moisture, according to this one run of the model, and there have been other runs as well. You've got cold air in place, and there's something to watch towards the end of next week. So what happens 9 out of 10 times, I end up going out somewhere in public or something. I'm walking, down the grocery, at the grocery store down the aisles. Todd, you said it's going to snow. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we're very confident right now. And when you're talking about the long range, you're talking about degrees of confidence. All the different indices that we look at for cold air coming south, all the models that we look at with the ridging up in Alaska, the cold air coming south, we're fairly confident that there's going to be cold air. How cold and how long it's going to last is questionable. But we're going to go below average. And remember, average this time of the year is rock bottom. And we're going into January. It's the coldest month of the year. January and February, the two coldest months of the year, especially in the end of January. So they're going to be below average. So yeah, cold air is a good bet. How cold and how long does it last? Will there be any moisture? Well, the models have kind of shown that there could be something way down the road, and there's something to watch. There you go. Thank you very much for coming to the Arkansas Weather Blog. We are your ticket to big weather events.